And plugins is the most important kind of aspect in providing functionality to your WordPress theme or WordPress website. So if themes was the front end of your WordPress website, then you can say that plugins are the back end functionalities of your website. Each plugin can do various things, and they are responsible for uh, running things around inside your WordPress website. So we'll learn about that thing in today's WordPress plugin development course. And all these concepts that we learned before, the WordPress functions, hooks, methods, everything will apply today in learning how you can develop WordPress plugins. So what we learn today is what is a plugin, what are different actions and filters that are the hooks of plugins, what are the basic shortcodes that you can use to embed your plugins, and then finally how you can manipulate the plugins menu page. So what is plugin? In a layman terms, you can say plugin is anything that plugs into an existing system or a function that performs some kind of functionality. In a similar fashion, WordPress plugins are nothing but script that contains PHP, CSS, JavaScript, HTML, all these things to add some kind of enhancement, some kind of add-on to the existing capabilities of your website. So WordPress is the biggest market for any kind of plugins ecosystem, and plugins are not just utilized by WordPress but other companies or other platforms like Gatsby or even your Facebook or Google Chrome. All these things rely on plugins, extensions, sometimes you call them, in order to perform some kind of functionality. So in order for WordPress to do any kind of extrovert, you need WordPress plugins. And WordPress plugins are mostly composed of these files, and similar in the similar fashion where you had the themes folder and you have some kind of hierarchy of dealing with things. Similarly, you have hierarchy of things inside the WordPress plugin also. And for WordPress plugins to get discovered, you actually get and install them from the WordPress marketplace. And when you create your own plugin, you can post your own plugin creations to the WordPress marketplace. So what are hooks, actions, and filters? This is something that we learn together today in more detail when we are doing the practical demos. But to be in short, actions are something that are triggered when a function is performed when in your website. They can be triggered manually when a user perform a click or something, or can be triggered automatically when users sign up or you have a huge spike in doing something. So these can be triggered in these two manners. So for them to differentiate, actions are the hooks which takes place when an event occurs and that in return does something else. For example, when you hit on publish post, it can trigger a function that actually calculates the reading time of your post and then saves into that thing. So that is an action hook that you would like to use. And this is an example of how you apply an action hook, that you actually name your hook first, and the function that you are going to deploy, the priority, because there can be multiple functions running on the same time, so you would like to give the priority, and the argument that you want to pass into this action. And filters are the hooks that are performed automatically when a process is getting executed. So for example, if you are viewing media gallery and if you want to apply something like only the images that are uploaded by a specific users to get displayed, so those are the things that you would execute using a filter. And the main difference between actions and filters are actions are triggered by some kind of event, and filters always filters through the data whenever some function is getting executed. And this is a way how filter is like implied inside WordPress. So you just give your hook name, how you want to trigger this, and the filter that you want to trigger it with, and the priority and accepted arguments. So what are shortcodes? Shortcodes are basically a way to trigger your own functions or the plugins that you have just created inside your normal content. So a WordPress shortcode can be created and utilized inside a plugin function, and then you can embed that inside your post to give a dynamic feeling or add some kind of dynamic functionalities. And they are actually done using the square brackets, and you write your short code inside them, and this short code is actually triggered by an action and which you just saw, and then it populates the content dynamically inside your thing. So that's enough for the yeah. And then you have the plugins menu page. This is how people discover and move around and play around with your plugin that you have just created. And there are different hooks that you can do used in order to register your plugin inside the settings menu or the tools menu using the add options page. And then you can have a different priorities where you want to show them, which logo you want to use, and all these things can be done and manipulated inside the plugins menu page. So let me show you a quick demo of how these things looks like. So I'll go back to deployed site on example server. Yeah, so you can see that I have different plugins over here, and whenever you want to install a new plugin, you just go to the installed plugins section and you can see all the plugins that you have already installed, and there are certain updates for the plugins also, and you can add new plugins using the add new functionality. Now when you add a new plugin, it actually gets its appearance inside one of these side menu, and this is a thing that you have to tell the plugin to do manually, otherwise it won't get populated inside the left menu. And whenever you do this thing, you have the options where you want to put that. If you want to put that inside the tools menu, or you want to put that inside the settings, or you just want to put that directly here. So for example, we have a plugin here called as checklist. So it would be automatically populated on the left side, and then you can see its settings and everything which you can manipulate. When you click on this thing, the index.php file of the plugin actually get executed and gives you this view. So that's it with the theory part of plugins. Now, Siddhant, you can tell more about how they can develop plugins and how they can write their code and implement.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Thanks. Uh, okay, so last time we were developing themes. We developed this theme, my theme. And inside this theme, there was a problem coming right now. Let me show you. So when you go your developer mode in Chrome by Control Shift I or by inspecting it, right click inspect. So you see here a developer mode inside network. There was a file I was attaching in inside functions.php. This file custom.css. I was enqueuing this file and it didn't show enough home page or index file here because I was doing a mistake. Let me show you. Inside the header, I haven't added here wp head function. This function is responsible for attaching your custom CSS files, which the plugin adds by doing in function like this, enqueuing any CSS style sheets. So like this, we will be able to see here. Okay. So now move on to the plugin part. So for the plugin, we need to create a folder inside our plugins folder here. It's same process like as themes, creating a themes folder like that. So we need to create a plugin folder here. Give it a directory name. Say plugin like this, and you need to create a file, PHP file with the same name as folder for plugin to work properly. Custom plugin, and in here you need to write some comments section for plugin to be recognized by the Wordpress. This plugin name, my custom plugin, and after that you need to give a description to it, or you can say plugin URI first. So this is the website where you want to redirect when someone clicks on your plugin link. I'll show you how it looks on admin dashboard. I'm creating a dummy HTTP web URL and description. That author and author URI. It's author web page. Version, give a version to a plugin. Versioning is important. Like this plugin name, plugin URI should be capital, and description, author URI, and let's see if plugin works or not. So here it is, my custom plugin. I've given a name to the plugin as like this, my custom plugin. And plugin description. This is author, and the author URI you can see here, bottom left, author URI and plugin URI. So this is how you add a plugin in the WordPress dashboard, and these buttons provided by the WordPress core. If you want to activate it, just press it activate, and nothing will happen because we haven't added any PHP code, any functionality in it. So today what we are going to do, I have created a to-do list. So we are going to add an admin menu hook first, an admin menu page, admin add some menu page, and all these functions we're going to perform today in today's session. And this app, I've created this app in Python Django by following a tutorial on YouTube. You can also create your own. There are a lot of free projects on YouTube. Follow them and create and learn. So let's do our first task, which is admin menu hook. Action, and it's an action. So admin, it's admin menu. What it will do, it will add your plugin menu here. So you can see your plugin here. So let me add a function to it, which will perform the function when an admin menu executes this function. So and define the function. So admin menu hook. So after defining the function, we need to add here our menus. So they will show up here. By doing this, so we do add menu page, and add menu page takes a couple of arguments. First is page title. So what will be the page title? After that, it takes a menu title. So menu title is a something else custom. And after that, capability. This capability allows the plugin to be accessible by various roles. Roles defined as author, administrator, and there are a lot of roles. So I'm giving four for author and for administrator. Next is slug. So it's going to be a menu slug. Next is a callback function. It is required for front end of your page for plugin. So say it is After that, the icon, which I'm uh, leaving it empty. So let's leave it. Now, after doing this, we will be able to see a menu here. So custom menu. Now this menu comes here. So this is the page we have created right now. But when I click on it, what we're going to see? We're going to see here a function which the WordPress trying to find. Let's mark here. Admin completed. Admin menu page done. So the let's define a function. Function name custom page. No custom function. Like this. Print out something so that we know it's working. So now we can print here, and you can write an HTML here, PHP here, whatever logic you want. You can write here. And after, let's add another page, a sub page, sub menu page. And the sub menu page requires a parent slug, and the parent slug is this, which we have defined here. Page and page title is sub menu page. That menu title, the menu title which will be shown to the left side. Add priority, so we'll give it 4. And there's a menu slug. It also requires a slug. Say sub menu callback function. This works. So it's giving me error. Which error is giving? Add sub menu page in the previous one. Stack trace is here. Let's see. Okay, so I accidentally defined this outside of the function. So now we have a sub menu. When we click on it, so we're also going to see the same error because function is not defined. Find that function too. That we'll have a front end for that page. So this is how you add your sub menu page and do the logic here. And if you want to add another page, it's an options page. The options page goes into the settings page inside here. If you want to add a page in here, you can also add it by adding a function or options page. Also take the same argument, page title, say options page. Capabilities for editor and author. You can find the capabilities on WordPress Codex. So menu slug, and a callback function. Let's see. where it will show it. When you refresh it and you go here, you see your options page right here. Let's define this function. Like this, you can add your options page in plugins and do the logic here. Write your logic here, whatever you want to do with the logic and all those things. Let's say if you want to add a page in users.php file in a users.php section, how will you add here? So for doing that, you need to copy this users.php. You need to replace it with the submenu with the parent slug. Let me just do this. Change this parent slug with the users.php. Right now there's 3 pages, all add new and users. Now we'll be able to see submenu page here. So like that, you can add your pages inside your admin dashboard where you want, and do your the PHP logic and HTML structure you want to give it to, and all those things you can do. And there are tons of APIs provided for this. And let's talk about to do, and we added the submenu page. Options page is done. Let's go to the shortcode. What are the shortcodes and how can you add the shortcodes? The shortcodes is a functionality by which if you add your shortcode inside your post, like going here and adding a new post and giving a give a title to it as shortcodes. This. And if you want to add here a shortcode, you need to go to this plus sign and search for shortcode like this, and you will find a widget. It's a Gutenberg widget, shortcode, and right here shortcode, and your shortcode, and shortcode will be written like this in square brackets, and your function name and args, something like this. So we'll be talking about it. So let's go to here, and for creating your shortcode, let's use an add action. Init hook and a callback function. So it's just a callback function. Like that, and add a function to register your shortcode actually. So do shortcode. So it said add shortcode, sorry. And it requires 2 arguments. First is tag. Say show my content. Callback function. So and you need to define this function somewhere in your plugin file. And do the logic here. If you return something like say you want to return here hello, and the shortcode tag was this, copy it. So just use square brackets and paste this thing here and publish it. And if everything was correct, it will show here on this page here. So shortcode hello, this thing coming in hello. So let's change the text to So now change is here, my first shortcode. So for your first shortcode is successfully created. So let's, if you want to pass an argument in your shortcode, and how will you do that? For passing an argument, you can pass as many arguments as you want from there. Functions, function handles those arguments. It depends on function if they want or not. Let's say I say post equals to, I want to give it 5, and I update it. And inside here, I need to pass here and args, say like this. If I want to see what's inside that arg, I will use print underscore r for seeing the args and dollar args like that. Let's see if this works or not. So the argument is post 5. So arguments are getting in arrays. So we can see we are getting them in array like this. So you can also pass as many arguments as you want here by giving us space and then key and then value in by separating by the equals to sign like this in a string. This is the way you pass the arguments inside your shortcodes and use those argument as you want. It depends on you. So let's try to just to update it. I think there's going to be error. So the error is the response is not a valid JSON, and why it's coming. Go to your developer mode in your Chrome or Firefox, whatever you use. In the exit jar, when you refresh this, okay, and you say see in the local response, it's clear, no problem. Okay, it's not updating. Let's first remove this thing. Okay. Okay, so something's happened to this button. I don't know, it's not working right now. Let's move this code from here. Button. Let's add a new post. It's trying to publish something. Let's see. Strange. I think the plugin is doing something. Let's deactivate the plugin and see if the plugin is doing things. So it's not the plugin, it's something else. It's strange, never came before like this. I don't know, it's a network issue or what. Let's see my other installation of WordPress. I don't know what's happening. The other installation of WordPress is also not publishing. I think it's a problem with my PC. Something is happening. I don't know. Let's continue. So we have added args and we passed that arg and we saw that arg returns an array in an array format. Now the short code part is done. So now talk about the actions and filters. Let's see if it's working or not. Okay, I don't know what's happening. So let's talk about actions and filters. So what are actions and filters? So actions are fired when there is an event occurs in a WordPress, when you click to publish a post, or when you visit a website, or when you visit a plugin. Those are actions, and those are attached to the hooks. And hooks names as actions. And filters are those when you want to you want to change the functionality of a function. You use filters. Let me show you. So actions, you already have seen what are actions like here. In a plugin, when I add this thing like this, so init is the action which is fired when you refresh your WordPress installation or your website like this. So it will get fired because it's an action. And filters fires when you want to change the functionality of a WordPress. Let's see a functionality of WordPress. How can you change? So add a filter. And use the tag, predefined tags there are. So the content, if I want to change the post content just by changing a functionality, not in the data, it will not change in the database. So callback function, post content like this, and define the function which is let me copy it, save some time. So here, if and in this function you need to pass an argument. It's a content, default content of each post. So it will be executed on each post you have in your WordPress database. So let's return something, and it should return content, this content, and we want to manipulate it. So we're saying that we want to change it, change to my. Okay. And if I just comment it out first, let me see what happens if I don't activate that. And if I go and view, go away. How does this go away? Small problems. Some serious issues. Okay. So now I'm going to refresh this page. This is show my content. Here it is. And let's go and stop this shortcode here. So inside this shortcode, what we have here, let's see, shortcode test. So now we're back with the update button. I don't know. Let's update it. And it's working. Let's see. Again paused. I don't know. Okay, so only one chance. Okay, so I pasted this thing. I typed this thing in my post. and inside here let's view. So we have my shortcode, and here we have changed my content. If I want to change that content, I need to reactivate this filter. Let's refresh it. So complete refresh. Okay, the shortcode test. Let's see. Okay, the content add filter changed my post. Okay, so this is how it works. It changes your content. Let's go to your installation. So filter changes your content to post content when you attach a filter or something like that. So they change the functionality of your functions. Okay, this is how you can define your filters inside here. So actions and filters is done. And I would like to show you one more thing before I close this. Inside themes, so last time we were working on our theme called my theme, and we don't have here a section called widget section because I haven't created it. So let's create this section first. And if just visit your website like this, plugin name, and my plugin name was custom plugin. So it's saying me 404 WP WordPress WP content. I've didn't give it here. You the structure of your plugin, how it is. So you do not want to show the users this thing. So how do you hide this? Simply write a file, create a file inside your plugin directory, root directory, and say anything you want to hide right here. Doesn't matter. So when you refresh this page, so it will go away. So it won't show the directory structure. So this is how WordPress hides its directory structure. That's why you'll be able to see the index page here, and index page here. Somewhere here, index page. So you need to create the index page for some better security of your plugin. So let's add a widget in your theme. So this was the theme I was working on, functions. And here, if you want to add a theme, add a widget, for widgets to work, you need a sidebar. And for registering a sidebar, you need to register sidebar. And this sidebar takes array like that. Add array, you need to pass the name of the sidebar, saying left side, and parameter which is ID, by which you want to find this sidebar. Say sidebar 3, whatever you want to call it. So this is a sidebar. I've registered a sidebar with the name left sidebar and ID with sidebar 3. And when I go back to my theme and refresh it, you will be able to see a widget section popped up here. When you click on it, you see a left sidebar. This is a sidebar. So it's dynamic. You can add the widgets here. You can also create the widgets, and WordPress provides a lot of APIs for creating your own widgets. You want to show this sidebar in your index page. How will you do that? So there's a method inside WordPress called as dynamic sidebar, and your sidebar name, which you are given sidebar 3, that sidebar 3. Let's see if it's empty, so it won't show anything right now. If I go to my index page, so here's nothing because it is empty. So let's add a widget to it. So category widget, give a name, and post count. I'm going to show post count with each category and save it. Refresh this thing if it saves or not. So it's saved. Refresh it. So the sidebar is working now. So you don't need to add the categories like this. I previously added a WP list category, remove it, and tags also you don't have to add it. Search form, this you want to add. Also the post is you don't want to add post to everything with sidebar will do, get the job done. So I want metas here. I say meta, save it. I want search, say save this, and I want what I want else say recent post. You can also have a recent post section. You can also type a number of posts you want, display posts, recent, and also save this. And in the last you want your meta to go. It's a drag and drop thing, simple. You will be able to see categories, search section, recent post, and metas, in which I've already logged in, so it's saying me log out. So this is how you do work with your theme, and you can do a lot of things with your theme. Simply just adding a sidebar or creating your own pages inside this, and doing the drag and drop thing from your customization section, or you can sell this to someone who doesn't know the code, so he can use the drag and drop feature of your plugin. I think guys that's all for today. Aman, would you like to take over?
Thank you, Siddhant.